if you're into self-improvement, you definitely heard the idea that you should not waste your 20s. You need to use your 20s to really capitalize the rest of your life and to excel later on, because you have the most energy you will ever have. You have the most time, most resources. And if you fail right now, it doesn't matter in the long run. And this is something that I truly believe. But there's a next step to this idea that I do disagree with. And that's the idea that you should not party in your 20s. And the idea behind this is that you should be stupidly locked in your 20s, again, to set you up for the rest of your life. Now, there are definitely reasons to be locked in your 20s. And I don't disagree with that, but I do think that you should still party. And it really comes down to 5 reasons. So the 5 reasons to party in your 20s really come down to your energy level and time, to networking, to controlling your impulses, to see different parts of people and places, and to realize who you are and where you stand. So let's get into this first reason, which is your energy level and your time. Now, like I mentioned earlier, in your 20s, you have a lot of energy and time. And compared to when you were a teenager, you could actually do something. You can go out if you want to, whatever. And so the idea is that you don't want to waste this energy. Makes sense. And so there's an idea that when you're 30, that's when you should be doing it. But the thing is, when you're 30, you don't recover as well. So it's better to do it now because you will recover quicker. But the other thing that must be considered is that the older that you get, the more people are really trying to build families. So you got to ask yourself, do you want to be the 30-year-old really, focused on that? That doesn't even make sense. Regardless, you shouldn't focus on it, but you shouldn't want to be in those scenes as you get older. And again, even if you are able to do that because you became successful in your 30s, doesn't mean your friends will be able to. So again, there's just less time to do it. So you might as well take advantage of the time that you do have to make these memories. Now, the second reason is networking. When you go out in these environments, you meet a lot of different people. And it's really up to you if you go up and talk to them or you don't, and how much you get to know about them and how much you build those bonds. But these are great places, especially when you're young, to meet different people. And so it doesn't really make sense to try to miss out on those opportunities. And especially in parties and stuff like that, the bar to conversation is a lot lower than usual. So it can be very beneficial to just meet new people. Now, the next reason is controlling impulses, right? And what I really mean by this is sometimes you know that you have something to do the next day. And so you need to make a choice. Do you still go? Do you still go as crazy as usual? Do you decide not to go? Do you decide to just potentially not drink, to not smoke, whatever your vice is, to not do that? Those are choices that you have to make. Additionally, you also have to choose how are you behaving and how are you presenting yourself to the world. So learning how to do this at a young age is better. And especially, let's say drinking is your vice. It's better to learn how to drink properly when you're younger than when you're older. Because if you're 30, getting wasted, that's a little crazy. So it's better to do it while you're young, figure out what's your limit, how to drink, whatever, if that's how you get down, and learn how to do it responsibly as quickly as possible. Now, the next reason is to see different parts of people and places. And what I mean by this is because when you're going to parties, the bar to socialize with people is a lot lower. You just have conversations that you otherwise would not. Let's take an example of high school where you have those so-called groups of the jocks, the nerds, whatever. But you go to a party, none of that matters. And if it does, that's when you really get down to the character of someone and understand that this is just a bad person. Because if you're there and you're not focused on having a good time, but instead you're focused on making sure that you're Mr. Macho Man, come on now. So overall, these are just good places to interact with different people and just see different parts of them that otherwise you would not have seen. Because you're conversating with people that you wouldn't otherwise conversate with, and you would be having conversations that you otherwise just would not have. And so this can be really good just to get a very 3D idea of people. So instead of having these preconceived ideas, now you actually know them. So now your ideas are backed up by real things that you know about them, and that can only be useful. But the same can be said about places. Let's say you're young and you decide to travel to a different country with your friends, and you go there and you say, hey, we're in a party or whatever. Not only are you meeting new people, but you're also seeing different places that you otherwise would not, and you're still interacting with people in ways that you otherwise wouldn't. So you're finding out different things about these places. You're seeing new places and just really changing your view of the world, because now maybe you're talking to someone in a different country that you otherwise would not have if you didn't want to go party. And they're teaching you about something in life that you otherwise would not even know exists. I know that when I went to the DR, just by being in that country, I'm able to meet a lot of different people, have conversations, learn that, bro, a lot of girls are braiders or nail techs. Didn't know that until now. So the fact that they have their own businesses in their own way, that was something that was cool to me, that they're really just pursuing something. And this can also be said in your own city, because you might see your downtown in a different light or whatever. And the last reason, to realize who you are and where you stand. What do I mean by this? Well, A lot of people, when they go to parties, what do? They drink. But why? Is it because it's socially acceptable? Maybe. Or is it because, in a lot of cases, they lack confidence? Personally, I believe it's the latter. And the thing is, if you drink to get confident, what's going to happen when you take one shot? You might be like, I'm not that confident. So you take another one, and you take another one. Until, yeah, you do feel confident, but what happens next? Wasted. You don't want that. So it's very crucial to realize where you are in your life and what you're lacking. So if you're lacking confidence, go to a party and realizing that you need 10 shots just to talk to a girl. That can be a sign. And also if you realize that, oh, these girls don't like you, that's another self-realization that you might only get because you are in these parties and you're realizing that, well, people don't like me. But if you don't go, how would you know? But it's even bigger than that. It really comes down to outside the party in terms of who you are and where you stand. And what I mean by this is if you're broke or if you don't have money that you should be spending to party, you have to be able to notice that. And so the reason why you should party is also to be able to tell, oh, I can't afford to party right now. In certain cases, again, like I said, in your 20s, you should still party. But if you realize that I don't have the money to party, then don't party. But you can't realize it unless you go out one day and you're like, damn, just going out this one time costed me a lot. Let me stay in. So you need to realize that. And you also need to realize that if you want to party and have a good time, it takes a lot. So start building those things. Let's say you're making $10,000. Because let's say you go out one night, you spend $50 and 0.5% of the money that you would make in a year. That doesn't sound crazy at first, but then multiply that by 52 weeks. And just looking at that in mind, you can tell that, hey, that's a lot. And that's where you got to realize that, okay, can you afford to party once a year, once a month, once every 3 months? Figure out what the number is, okay? And figure out how much do you want to be and how much does it make sense to be. Now, overall, I hope the one thing that you truly take from this is that, yes, you should party in your 20s, but you should still prioritize everything else. Working out, school, work, starting businesses. But the real key and the real challenge and the real reason why people even say that, hey, you should party in your 20s is because the hardest thing isn't to be a party animal or to not party at all. The hardest thing is moderation. And so you need to learn how to best balance both of these sides, because if you party all the time, you're not feeling light. You're going to be lost in the sauce, really. But if you never do it, you're going to be missing out. And there's going to be moments where you're just wanting more. You just want to have fun from time to time. And going out might do that for you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.